The T20 World Cup has just concluded, and India has once again shown why it is one of the strongest teams in world cricket currently. But while fans across the world were celebrating great cricket, something else was happening across the border sections of the Pakistani media. Instead of analyzing the matches, many so-called experts started floating conspiracy theories. According to them, India didn't win because of skill or planning, but because of manipulated pitches, controlled umpires, IPL, tampered balls, and even bats with springs inside them. Yes, you heard that right. Bats with springs inside them. So, in this video, let's calmly go through some of the wildest conspiracy theories that were floated by Pakistani media during this edition of the World Cup. And let's also examine how these claims completely collapse when confronted with simple facts. One of the most common accusations was that India prepared pitches to favor themselves. Some claimed the surfaces were deliberately designed to help the Indian spinners. Others said the pitches were flattened so India could pile up massive scores. But here is a problem with that argument. If doctored pitches alone decided matches, then every team playing on that surface should score the same amount of runs. But that simply did not happen. For example, in the first semi-final in Kolkata between South Africa and New Zealand, the pitch was also described as a batting paradise. Yet, South Africa managed only around 180 runs. New Zealand chased it down in just around 12 to 13 overs. Now, compare that with what India did on similar surfaces. India had similar surfaces during both the semi-final as well as the final and managed to score over 250 both the times. So clearly, the pitch alone does not guarantee huge scores. You still need skill, you still need execution, and you still need batsmen capable of dominating the bowlers. Another fascinating episode came from former Pakistani spinner Saqlain Mushtaq, who was working as an analyst on the PTV sports show Game On Hai. Now, Saqlain is not just any analyst. He was the main spin bowler of the 90s Pakistani team. But it appeared like Saqlain's main motive on the show was to save the career of his son-in-law Shadab Khan. During Pakistan's very first match against the Netherlands, the pitch had a little green grass on it, and Saqlain immediately claimed that the ICC had effectively become the Indian Cricket Council. According to him, the conditions were being created so that Pakistan would struggle. Think about that for a moment. If Pakistan requires a turning pitch to defeat the Netherlands, that itself says something about the confidence in the team. And the irony, in that very match, it was Pakistan spinners who took most of the wickets. So, the very factor Saqlain was worried about ended up deciding the game in Pakistan's favour. Another conspiracy that keeps appearing every tournament is the toss manipulation theory. Former Pakistani bowler Sikandar Bakht, who frequently appears on Jio TV, has repeatedly questioned the fairness of the toss. He often asks questions like, why is the coin flipped so far away? Why don't broadcasters always show the coin clearly? How do we know the correct call was made? But this tournament quietly exposed how weak that argument really is. This time, broadcasters actually showed the coin landing on the ground. And India still lost several tosses during the tournament. And if toss were really being manipulated for India, why would India keep losing it? At the end of the day, a coin toss is exactly what it sounds like, a coin toss. Another accusation came from veteran journalist Nazim Rajput on the show Cricket Kuch Cricket Ho Jaye. He suggested that India somehow controls the DRS system and that umpires were favoring India. The incident they highlighted involved Shimron Hetmeyer during the India versus West Indies match. They argued the huge daylight between bat and ball, but the technology showed a spike. But here's the thing. DRS is run by independent broadcast technology and match officials. Teams don't control it. Players don't control it. And certainly no cricket board secretly controls it during live matches watched by millions of people. In short, the claim sounds dramatic, but it has no real evidence behind it. Another strange theory appeared during the India versus England semi-final. Some analysts claimed that after the 15th over, the ball was secretly changed, which supposedly made it harder for England to chase. But again, look at what actually happened in the match. England tried to simply survive an over from Jasprit Bumrah. That strategy completely backfired. Bumrah conceded just around 6 runs in the over. Suddenly, England, who needed around 45 runs from the final 3 overs, and after Bumrah finished his spell, the equation became nearly impossible, wherein they needed around 39 runs in 2 overs. So the match was decided by tactics and pressure, not by some mysterious ball change. The same India vs England match produced another bizarre allegation. England's Harry Brook dropped a catch that could have dismissed Sanju Samson. Samson went on to score big, and some analysts or so-called experts suggested Brook dropped the catch deliberately to protect an IPL contract. But here's the awkward detail they forgot. Harry Brook is actually banned from the IPL for 2 years after withdrawing from the tournament twice. So the idea that he dropped a catch to protect an IPL contract when he is not even eligible to play in the IPL right now makes the conspiracy collapse instantly. But the wildest accusation of them all came from Nazim Rajput. He claimed that Indian batsmen might be using bats with springs inside them. According to him, players like Abhishek Sharma, Ishan Kishan and Sanju Samson are not strong enough to hit huge sixes. So the only explanation, according to him, was that the bats must contain springs. This is honestly beyond laughable. Cricket bats are strictly regulated by the International Cricket Council. They are checked before matches. They must follow exact limits for thickness, edges, and materials. The idea that a player could secretly install a spring inside a bat and pass inspection during an international match broadcast with dozens of cameras is simply absurd. When you put all these claims together, a pattern becomes obvious. Pitch conspiracies, toss conspiracies, DRS conspiracies, ball conspiracies, IPL conspiracies, spring bat conspiracies. Every turning point in a match is explained not by cricket but by some imaginary plot. And that reveals something deeper. For some sections of the Pakistani media, it seems impossible to accept that India might simply have played better cricket. But sometimes the explanation is very simple. Better preparation, better players, better execution under pressure, and until that reality is acknowledged, the conversation will keep drifting away from cricket and into conspiracy theories. Sport is at its best when rivalry pushes teams to improve. But conspiracy theories do the opposite. They prevent honest analysis. And without honest analysis, improvement becomes impossible. Because at the end of the day, cricket matches are not won by spring bats or secret balls or invisible technology. They are won by skill, and sometimes the better team simply wins. If you enjoyed this analysis and want more deep dives into cricket, politics, and everything in between, make sure you like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And most importantly, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What conspiracy theory did you enjoy the most? I'll see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.